This is called the Open Carry Guns for Everyone Utopia. I wrote this during the time of the Vegas shooting. Now and then, I tune into Fox to watch Hannity cheer America's descent into fascism. Abraham Lincoln was fond of saying that by age 40, a man is responsible for his own face. Small wonder that Sean Hannity looks like a prison guard in Schindler's List. Anyway, I could not bear the anxiety of watching my Colorado Rockies wildcard game, so I switched to Hannity for a few minutes. What a mistake. Right-wing nutjob media that day was whining about the left exploiting the Vegas massacre to push its anti-gun agenda. So Hannity, fair and balanced, broadcasting from Las Vegas, hosted two gun nuts masquerading as security consultants. Hannity and his guests bloviated briefly about the massacre, known stuff, when one of the security consultants, excoriated the left for the muddle-headed idea of gun-free zones. Hannity jumped in to yank the conversation even further adrift, stoking the abject fear of his core audience that the left aims to disarm regular Americans, leaving them at the mercy of violent home intruders. The rancid, age-old argument of the NRA. This, of course, was not using the Vegas massacre to promote the pro-gun agenda. Not Sean Hannity. At this point, since I could see the game through the game Hannity was playing, I turned back to watch my beloved Rockies. So let's backtrack. Hannity's guest, the security consultant, leapt from the Vegas massacre to a condemnation of gun-free zones. Was that a random vocal ejaculation? Or does he see a connection? Is he suggesting that, had the concert-goers been armed, the shooter would have been deterred? Really? Is he joking? The shooter was 32 floors above the killing field, in the dark. He took a position back from the windows to mask muzzle fire. Trained soldiers and policemen needed some time to ascertain that the hailstorm of bullets was coming from above. So let's imagine that Las Vegas that night was an open carry Guns for Everyone utopia. Let's imagine that 1,000 or more country western music fans with varying degrees of training elected to pack that night. How would they have responded to a barrage of bullets coming from an unknown source? Do you doubt that many, perhaps hundreds, would have panicked? Does it require an overactive left-wing imagination to envision most of those armed people shooting at any armed person that flashed into view? How many of those packing country western fans would have been shooting at each other? How many of those well-meaning righteous bullets would have hit innocent targets? How many armed and unarmed country western fans would have been killed in this crossfire of panic? Great idea, Mr. Security Consultant. See you at the mass grave. P.S. By the way, the left in America are the people who show up for poetry night Fridays at the Mercury Cafe, a small but loyal gathering. Those people are completely out of Hannity's view. When he talks about the left, he actually is talking about the center, people like me. This distortion is what happens when one's point of view is a few paces to the right of Attila the Hun. Okay, I'll have a little bit more to say. I've got a little bit of time on that thing. So, I wanted my opinions on gun control have not a whole lot to do with ideology. It has to do with people I know. I know perhaps a dozen single-issue voters, guys who vote on for the Republican on the gun issue alone. That's the only thing that drives them to the polls. Is and I don't respect that. But this year I will be a single voter, and it's how tough are you going to be to support the Mueller investigation? So this year I'm a single-issue voter, so I shouldn't look down on them for that. And about those dozen or so gun nuts that I know, most of whom I like, I would say that it is in the public interest for them to have a concealed carry permit, because most of those men have good judgment and would do the right thing. They would definitely try to do the right thing, and most of them really know what they're doing. So, in a dangerous situation, I think there's a good chance they would react well and do a public service. It's in our interest for them to have a conceal and carry license. Except for one. There's one of them that I think is such a hothead. I think he would overreact. But anyway, like I said, that's part of where my opinions come from. That's why I do support conceal and carry for law-abiding citizens in states that allow it. I don't support the idea of conceal and carry reciprocity. I'll tell you why in a minute or two, because it involves another guy that I know of, that I've heard about. Another reason why I support conceal and carry is one of my best friends. Her name is Robin. She was raised by a game warden. Her father was a game warden in Maine, and he taught her everything you need to know about the outdoors. And she is to the when you talk about the left, you might be talking about my friend Robin. I mean, she's a tree hugger. She just disappears into one of her favorite places to go is the National Prairie, either the one that's northeast or southeast Colorado. But to clear her head, she goes down there because she just needs that kind of solitude sometimes. And she pointed out during a gun debate online that I was watching with her, that because a lot of things people on the gun control side of the issue will point out the Port Arthur massacre in Australia, and that since that massacre and since they collected all the guns, that there hasn't been a similar event. That's true. But Robin pointed out that true, but home invasions did go up by 40%. All right, so that's she's not a liar. She's on the progressive side of on almost all issues, but she did point that out, and she's telling the truth. I'm sure she is. So that's why I've already made this point before. It's in my interest for my neighbors to be able to have a gun in their house to protect themselves if they wish. Okay, and Robin, there is no way that if someone tries to rape her, that is a mortal decision. And if she and women like her want to have the means to protect themselves from sexual assault and turn the tables on the attacker, or just to have it to feel secure, they should have that right, the means at hand. That's why guys support conceal and carry for law-abiding citizens. Okay. Now there's a third person that goes through my mind, and this is why I do not support conceal and carry reciprocity, because the stricter gun control states can point to all kinds of statistics to show that that fewer guns and stricter laws mean less gun violence. All right, so they should not have conceal and carry forced on them by the red state gun nuts. If the blue states don't want it, they shouldn't be forced on them. Okay, and here's one reason why. One of my mom's best friends lives in Salida, and people in Salida joke about it. There one night I was there, and they were joking and laughing about this guy who, when Obama was elected, turned his house into a fortress, and his basement is an arsenal. He's got this parapet around his house, and he patrols it, because this crazy right-wing nut imagined that with Obama in power, that there was going to be an army of dark-skinned men just over the next hill, on the way to rape his wife and daughter and steal his color television, a widescreen color television set. That's where that guy's head is at. All right. So he's got all this hardware, and if he wants to protect his property, fine. You know, I mean, if that are any the semi-automatic machine guns that he has down in his basement are just used for protecting his property, or you know, massaging his psychosis, that's fine. But he should not be able to take that stuff off his property. And that those weapons should be, you know, we go to Walmart and you try to, you know, you fill up your shopping cart and you want to take all the stuff home. Well, the GPS device on that shopping cart tells it the brakes to go on if you try to get off the property, right? Why can't the same thing be built into a semi-automatic weapon? Okay, in order for, if people are really serious about this argument as a defensive weapon, okay, put that on it. All right. Make it if you once the guy is off his own property, he can't shoot it. All right, because that guy, the reason why that guy wants conceal and carry reciprocity is he wants to go to New York, and that dude will walk. People in New York have a reason to worry that dude will march into Harlem to show the black people who's boss. Okay, that's just what he's all about. Okay. And there are hundreds of thousands, if not a few million people like that. All right, I mean, they're that paranoid, and it's that underlying racist thing. They think that okay, if they want to protect their property, prove it. Just the gun cannot leave it. The gun cannot fire once you get off that property. But so anyway, I do not support conceal and carry reciprocity, because I know who the really crazy gun nuts, I know what they're all about, and so does everybody else. So I don't know if I have anything more to say on this. I think I'm done with guns. I'll get on to other reasons why I left the Libertarian Party, but not on this video.